Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Adept. Oh God, what am I even saying? I got confused. Another Noosphere podcast. I was about to say Adeptus ridiculous. I've been watching too much of that shit. Welcome to another Noosphere podcast. Sorry. My name is Nathan Leahy, aka the Mazer, and I'm joined today by Jay, aka the Mad Magos.
Aloha.
And Dan, aka Little Willy.
Hey.
So today we are talking about the Adeptus Custodes 9th edition Codex Wishlist. Both me and Dan are pretty heavy Adeptus Custodes players, so we've got a lot of love for the faction, and Jay has a lot of experience playing against the faction. But first things first, in terms of paying the bills, if you would like to check out our meadery, you can find us at www.lightningassaultmeadery.com and on Facebook at facebook.com/lightningassaultmeadery. And Jay.
Yeah, so for painting commissions, you can come and visit me at Fiverr under Mad Magos Paints, or on Instagram, again, at Mad Magos Paints. By all means, it doesn't necessarily have to be regarding commission. If you just want to hit me up for a chat, whatever, by all means, drop me a message. Happy to, talk with our dear subscribers. Yeah.
And you can find our dear Dan absolutely nowhere.
No.
Yes.
The way he likes it.
He is the Aquarius of the group.
Yeah. You can join our Discord.
True Alpha Legionnaire.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. You can join our Discord, which the link is below on the screen that you can see now, and it's also in the comment section, the description of this video as well. We've got a reasonable amount of people joining us now. Apart from us, we got a couple of randomers, and we've got our Patreons as well. If you do want to join our Patreon to help support the channel, keep us doing what we're doing, you can visit us at patreon.com/lightning assault, and you'll get a custom Discord name. And I believe, oh no, I always forget, poor Steve. You can find us playing at dicecaverngames.com, also at the local game store, Dice Cavern Games in Grantham. We are currently running our Escalation League there, so you can find a lot of our players playing. I think 1,000-point matches, I believe. And Steve at Dice Cavern Games does 10% off of Warhammer products, and he also sells Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Bolt Action, and all sorts of random crap. So if you would like to buy any Warhammer stuff at 10% discount, you can buy it from his website, or you can head on in and book a table and play some games.
Yeah, lots of board games.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, Nathan. Is the game going ahead tomorrow? Still not know.
Yes, but not what Jimmy had originally planned. So we're playing a 2,000 points per player 2v2. So it's just 4,000 points aside. Me and my brother playing one team, and then Jimmy and his friend playing another team. Me and my brother have already discussed our battle plans. We're going to be playing Custodies with Gulliman and Iron Hands with Gulliman, just to tone down a bit and to make it more interesting, because we both have Gulliman models that we don't get to use. So yeah,
that makes sense.
He does buff Imperium, so it's not a completely dead model.
Gilliman.
Yeah, 2 Gillimans.
Stop breaking my immersion.
There you go, guys. So if you are in the area, you've taken the time to look up Dice Cavern Games, and you want to meet our very own Captain General, the Mazer, then get yourself down there tomorrow.
Yeah, you can watch us just get bored after turn 3 if anything's still alive.
Turn 3? You'll get bored after turn 1.
Yeah. Right. So, on to the subject of our video. The Custodies. So, I've been playing Custodies since they existed. Dan's been playing against Custodies since they existed, and has now joined the ranks of the Golden Boys, the Chads, the Custodes. And Jay has only recently been playing against Custodies.
Yes. So every game you have seen televised on YouTube against Custodies. I've had my ass handed to me twice now. Hoping, if are we still going ahead with God versus Custodies on Thursday?
So next week it's Space Marines and what was it?
Something.
I can't remember. Yeah. So next week's game on Thursday at 7 p.m. It's Dan and Jay, and I think Dan was playing
We're doing
Space Marines.
versus God.
Yes, it was. It's
well, my apologies.
Or
shut up then.
Something to that effect. I can't recall. I think it's Space Marines versus God.
Yes. Well, I know I'm going to play God.
Yes. So Dan can play Space Marines which way he wants. I know he's painting a Salamander's army. Whether they'll be ready or not, he might just end up playing my army, and he can play it however he likes because it's a generic paint scheme. But anyway, we digress.
Not Emperor's Children.
Yes, yeah. So the ninth edition sort of wish list in terms of so we usually start off with a little bit of stats, a little bit of balance. So at the moment, Custodies are sitting pretty average. In general, from the whole of 2021, their win rate is about 55%, I think. And in terms of GT performance in the last 2 weeks, their win percentage is only 45%. But they only have 23 players, so it's not massive amount of players, not a massive amount of games. Only 119 games in the last 2 weeks with Custodies that have been recorded. So I don't think that 45% is massively representative, but the 2021 general performance of 55% win rate sits about right in where I think they are. They are probably one of the best balanced factions in the game. And they have been since the start of 9th. They've just been decent at everything. They're a cheap army to get into, like in terms of price. In order to build a full 2,000 points, it's half the price of the nearest army. So it's quite accessible, but a lot of people still haven't chosen to go in that direction for whatever reason. But I wouldn't.
Do you think that's because? I was just going to say, do you think that's because potentially they're put off by the Forge World units?
Yes, probably. I mean, you can fundamentally play Custodies without Forge World, but you're at a disadvantage. You really, yeah. So this is one of the sort of the main issues, which we'll get onto. They're a very accessible army if you want to jump into the 9th edition and have a 2,000 points reasonably cheap. You can pick up 5, maybe 6 boxes, and that's 2,000 points. Some jet bikes, some guard, some terminators. That's it. That'll do you.
Each kit really can be built with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So, you take 2 boxes of Virtus Praetors, and then boom, you got Captain on Dawn and your jet bike, and 5 bikes.
Yeah, with salvo, which is pretty amazing. And then you just run some normal guard, a couple of guard to hold objectives, and then some terminators for a deep strike unit.
Couple of guard? Oh, you mean Aurelian guard?
The custodian guard, yeah.
Yeah, they're just basic troops.
Yeah, run them with shields and swords. You can pepper a few spear boys in there, and that's it. You got yourself an army that's reasonably decent. But like you say, a lot of the tournament quality comes from really heavily leaning into Forge World. So we're talking Venatari, Telamons, Achilles, and Galatus, and even the Sagittarium.
From a simplicity point of view, what do you rate on the plastic Contemptor Dreadnought?
It sucks.
It's Contemptor. It sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Venerable Contemptor Dreadnought. So it's got a Kerry's pattern assault cannon, which is meh, and it's got a multi-melter, and it's just really crap for its points. Really, really bad for its points.
Yeah, the Forge World Dreadnoughts again outshine it.
Yeah,
completely.
Massively. It's just very odd that it's still in the position that it's in, even after the numerous balance runs.
I think they forget it's an actual model they can use.
Yeah.
That thing's not seen any kind of changes or anything for ages.
Yeah, it is weird. I agree. I think they perhaps forget it exists. Because a lot of Custodies players forget it exists. I think the only reason it exists is because it was in that box set.
Like the Burning of Prospero.
Yeah.
Which funnily I bought.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was actually at the time it was an absolute bargain for the Marines and the Dreadnought alone.
Yeah.
I mean, there was only the Sisters of Silence and the Custodes at the time that were kind of surplus to requirement for
Yeah.
me. But by the time you factored in the price of everything else, they came free. Plus the characters came free. So the Araman prior to his ascendance, I suppose. And there's a really cool Space Wolf character. Now, I do incidentally have all of the Custodes, all of the Sisters of Silence, and the two characters still on the sprue in the box.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, my man, I'll buy those Sisters of Silence off you. You should have told me. You should have told me that you had those models.
Did.
No,
I'm
you never
sure
told
I
me
did.
that. I'm always looking for more Sisters
Yeah.
of Silence to flesh out my
I'll take
shelves of garbage models.
Hell yeah, I'll take the guard because I don't have enough Custodians.
Oh well, I think I've just found the budget for my what was it I was after? Wardrobe kits, the Blood Angels.
Oh, the Leviathan Dreadnought.
The
Leviathan Dreads.
Yeah.
We'll just say by the time you add those to what I've already got saved, then yeah, I'll have a budget if I was buying Forge World
easy.
properly.
No problem. Anyway, this has turned into
we'll just leave it at that.
Turned into verbal eBay.
It is.
Anyway, so
yeah,
they're a reasonably balanced faction, very easily accessible, but I think Dan will probably agree with me when I say that it's got some pretty... It might seem simple to look at in terms of everything got the same stats, same weapons or whatever, but it is remarkably difficult to play well because...
It's a finesse army.
Yeah, they live and die by their strats, and a misuse of their stratagems on the wrong target at the wrong time will mess you up reasonably well.
It depends. I think it's a weird one, right? It's low model armies like that are peculiar in general because obviously a mistake costs you a lot more.
Yeah,
you lose one unit of your bikes, then that's backbreaking, right? Well, if you lose a unit of anything else in any other army, it's like can probably make do without it. But the stratagems are key, but at the same time, I think with just how tough they are, like you can, if you're playing relatively carefully, I think you're gonna do okay. I don't think they're as hard to play as something like Drakari, for example.
No, definitely not.
Maybe that's just my pea-sized brain that can't work with too many models. But I do find them easier to play than Drakari.
I don't know. They just feel very much more attractive to play for me. From a standpoint, the main reason I like the army at present is because they do not have the bloat that so many other armies have. Just the sheer quantity of garbage models that you would just never play. I mean, let's be honest, they have their fair share of useless models. They've got their Land Raider, they've got their Leviathan, they've got their Venerable Contemptor Dreadnought. Wardens fell out of favor in 9th, but they're not totally trash. They don't have a place right now, which hopefully is one of the things that will get fixed.
Yeah, they're in a weird spot.
Yeah,
because they just kind of get outshined by Terminators, and they still take the elite slot.
Yeah, it's an army that very much relies on that elite slot.
Yeah, which to be fair is the same. I can relate to that because Blood Angels are very reliant on their elite slots. Like you really are when you build a Blood Angels list, looking to maximize your elite options.
Yeah.
But I suppose with the Custodies, they have that few model options that, like you said, there isn't the bloat because the things that are really good are really good. The things that are mediocre, and there's only probably four units that are crap.
I'd say 3.
Well, you say that, but it's just there's a lot of units from Forge World, right?
Yeah,
that's where they catch. You look at the Codex, and there's only like one or two bad models, but then all of a sudden,
I was trying to take into account the Forge World. The only thing I'm thinking there, and that is just purely off what I've heard you and Nathan talking about.
Yeah.
Like at the minute, neither of you I've seen running any form of their fancy tanks. You've got
the tanks are still good. Nathan has them,
but you never run them.
So they recently had success at a GT shortly after they nerfed the Telemon again. The Telemon and the Calladius Grav tank share a points value. They're very similar in points, but they serve very slightly different roles. And it's kind of 50-50. Some people run the Calladius tank, some people run the Telemons. It's very much a personal preference kind of thing. I just prefer the Telemons because I'm the kind of player that likes tough, sort of not necessarily as shooty units, and I prefer melee, whereas the tanks are long range, anti-elite, very fast, but slightly less durable. But they're perfectly viable choices.
Right. Oh well, there you are. There's a challenge from me to you two laid down. One of you needs to do a tank-based list, and we'll see how that fares in one of the back reports.
Well, I might play it tomorrow. I might go. I might turn up to tomorrow's 2v2 with Gulliman, to a bunch of Calladii, a bunch of Telemons, a bunch of Galatus and Achilles, and see what happens.
What, and then possibly feature them on the channel?
Oh, I doubt that very much.
Oh, well, that was me gauntlet. That's what I'm laying down.
It would involve me painting them.
Dude.
And I've got Necrons and Orcs to paint for soon.
Fair enough.
But anyway,
okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I don't know the models.
Yeah. Anyway, so one of the overriding factors of the army is the fact that they've now got these shield hosts, which they gain in Psychic Awakening, which are kind of okay. The main issue with the shield hosts at the moment is that there's only one competitively good option. Nobody else runs any of the other ones, and they don't provide any passive benefit whatsoever. Like every other faction that has a culture, a regiment, a chapter, whatever, their chapter gives them a benefit of some sort, whereas for some reason the Custodies don't.
I kind of have an idea why. I think it's because if you look at all of the bonuses, usually they're tied to the stat line.
Yes.
It's either an extra attack here, so and so here. Custodies they're fucking maxed out.
Yeah.
You can't give them any more saves.
This is the problem.
Ridiculous.
I feel like Custodies are a really well balanced faction right now. They're difficult to balance because they're an elite army, and if you overpower the big powerful squads, then they crush, and if you underpower them, then you end up with 8th edition where they are absolutely garbage and have to hide in magic boxes. So the difficulty with this podcast is mainly that they're balanced now, but there obviously going to be some changes. And there are a couple of quality of life things that I would like to change anyway. Like the biggest one is flat 2 damage. I don't think they should have D3 damage across every single profile in the entire Codex.
They do have a lot of D3 damage.
It's everything.
Predominantly, again, it's mainly the actual Codex units that have D3 damage. The Forge ones don't.
Yes, so the Power Fists are flat 2. Yeah. And all of the Forge World stuff is not D3. It's just the Codex stuff. So I would prefer it if everything went from D3 to flat 2. I would also.
What you're basically saying is, to make them better, you need to nerf them and then give them strats to make them better again?
Their strats are fine.
I don't know about nerfing them.
No.
Stat line wise, I think they're fine.
Yeah.
I don't see them changing. But we know one thing that's coming based on what has happened to the Space Marines. That is, I assume the Storm Shields are going to get changed.
Yes.
Which leads to the question of what's going to happen to their normal save.
Inborn,
I know
yeah.
something tells me something's going to go weird, right? Either not much changes at all,
Yeah.
or there's going to be a huge change in like army wide when it comes to their
Yes.
Yeah.
inborn.
I think they're either gonna just reprint the codex and change like 5 things,
I'll take that.
which I'll be totally fine with, if I'm honest. If all they change is flat 2 damage on melee profiles, they give Wardens a point to exist, and they buff some of the other shield hosts so that they're actually viable, I'll be totally fine with it. Or, like Dan said, they're going to redesign the entire army from the ground up. They're no longer going to have their army-wide 4-up inborn. They'll no longer have all of the... They'll take away, like, Unleash the Lions or something weird like that, or they'll take away a bunch of our strats. They'll take away our stat lines and then redesign...
Yeah, for some reason, I don't see them taking like changing the 4-up inborn, right? Because if you think about it, Thousand Suns kept theirs,
Yeah.
so Thousand Suns still have a 5-up inborn across the board,
Army-wide, yeah.
And it's even better now because it affects vehicles.
Yep.
So maybe they're not. Maybe they will keep the Custodies shields on a 3-up, right?
The issue is that they're 1-up, 3-up now.
Well, maybe that's what I mean. Maybe they'll keep them just without the extra normal save. So they'll keep them as is, like old school Storm Shield, just flat 3-up inborn.
I think this is one of those times where they actually, for once, what we're actually saying is kind of leave it alone as opposed
please
to
leave them
do
alone.
an overhaul. Yeah.
But seriously, there are a couple of things that need to be changed. So, like we said, the flat 2 damage. I don't like D3 at all. Flat 2 is preferable. The only time D3 is better is against Death Guard because of their -1 damage. But I would rather have the consistency of flat 2. The other thing I would like to see changed, like I mentioned, is Wardens. They're basically Custodian Guard. They have the Misericordia point cost baked into their cost, so you can't take off the Misericordias, which they're little daggers, which is fine, whatever. But they have 1 extra attack than the Guardians, so they have the equivalent amount of attacks as Terminators, but they're slightly cheaper than Terminators, but not by enough. And they have a 6-up.
Wound.
They don't have the extra wound, so they're basically Custodian Guard with a 6-up Feel No Pain and an extra attack, which is odd because they can't take Storm Shields, they can't Deep Strike, they don't get to use any of the Terminator strats, which are some of the best strats in the army. And I don't know, they're just really... The 6-up Feel No Pain just feels pointless.
Yeah.
It's a really weird rule. They do, since Psychic Awakening, they seem to have made it clear that the Wardens are this anti-psyker specialist. So they have their own stratagem where they can deny a psychic power on a 4+, I think, or something to that effect. Which is niche, but it's a strat. So I'm not really sure what they'd need to do to Wardens to make them a viable unit over Terminators and or Guard.
I think I would fix them by putting them in the troop slot. Normally they're
yes, we mentioned this before, didn't we?
With the weird, right? Because then you have another troops choice. Because compared to Guard, to Custodian Guard, they can take axes, right? So there'd be like the more glass cannon, choppy troop choice, which would be nice.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's their Guard that can take an axe. Yeah, it's not a bad shout actually. Sticking them in the troops choice is not terrible. Because we already have a really heavily fought over elite slot. Like, who's going to take Wardens over Galatus or Achilles or Vexilla or Alarus or Aquilon?
Anything else?
Yeah, like it's just
the Terminators just outshine them.
Yeah, so yeah, troops choice would be cool. And I think their points need adjusting just a tiny bit. Or don't change their points and take away the feel no pain and give them something else, or improve the feel no pain or something. It's just
How many attacks do they have baseline?
4. So they're one extra. They're basically you can look at it two ways. They're Terminators without the deep strike and without the extra wound, or they're guard with an extra wound, with an extra attack. Sorry,
extra attack. So they already have the guard on extra.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I'd just put them in troops, right?
Yeah.
You're just looking for an extra attack, which is fine, right? 4
Yeah.
attacks with the axe is pretty good.
And then I don't
Totally
know,
makes sense to me.
take away the 6 up feel no pain and give them make them deny psychic powers natively, or give them a 5 up feel no pain or something like that. I don't know. The 6 up just irks me real bad. It just feels like it's
neither now nor summit.
Yeah.
To use a Geordie phrase.
Or just take it away entirely and make them cheaper.
Yep.
Like, fuck it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's an odd one. The other thing is, what are the other units that are terrible? The Land Raider.
Yeah, but that's Land Raiders in general.
It needs an invuln.
Yeah.
Like, it's T8, 14 or 16 wounds.
16, isn't it?
It's a decent unit, but it costs quite a bit, and there's no reason to protect your guard when the vehicle that they're in is easier to kill than the guard themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You get a special Land Raider.
It's the same.
It's just the same as a standard Land Raider. It's got 2 twin link las cannons, twin heavy bolter, and it can carry. Is it 5 or 10 custodian? It's 10 custodian.
I don't think it takes 10. I think it's only 5, isn't it?
No,
it'll be 10 custodians or 5 in Terminator armor.
I can't remember.
Okay. There you go then.
Yeah. So
it's coming in clutch with the Codex.
Yeah. So it's an interesting concept, especially as it can benefit from the Archaeotech munitions. So you get 4 las cannons that are rolling 2d6, choose the highest for their damage. But it just doesn't have an invuln, so it dies. It dies to melter like every other vehicle in the game that doesn't have an invuln.
Yeah. There's a question, right? Speaking on the Land Raider subject, do Custodies even need a transport?
Well, they have the Coronis Grav Carrier, which is Forge World and does have an invuln.
Yeah, but I mean, like, as an army, do they need a transport?
No.
Does that actually benefit them in any way?
Not at all.
Because I can't think of any point in a game where I thought, I wish I could put my troops in a transport.
The only time I would want to put my troops in a transport is if I needed to go to the midboard to grab a point and I was against Admech.
Just to wrap it in 16 extra wounds.
Just give a squad 16 extra T8 wounds for those fucking 5-up auto wound rifles to chew through.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Same fucking thing.
Yeah. And then
wound on a 5-up anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then when it dies, your guards are alive to stranglehold for a turn before they die the next turn. But 300 points or whatever it costs. It's quite pricey.
Plus the extra 150 for the troops inside.
It's a big I mean, me and James played a game where he played Admech against my Custodian guard, and he one-shotted a 3-man shield squad with his radiums carbines.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
they just get drowned in shots.
So that's the only instance I could possibly imagine where you would bring a transport is against Admech.
To be honest, I swear on the Emperor's name, dude. The shield guard are cursed. I like 70% of the saves on those things.
Yeah.
I never roll well for some reason on
it is weird. For a unit that's got a 1-up in cover, and no, they're 1-up standard, and then they have a 0-up in cover.
No, they don't get extra.
Yeah,
they don't.
So Shield Guard have a 2-up, 3-up. The Storm Shield gives them a +1 save to their standard save, so they're a 1-up. and then when they're in cover, they have a 0 up. So they ignore the first 2 AP of any gun if they're in cover with shields. Did you not know that?
Damn.
Dan's like, there are plays that I could have done. I think he's furiously looking.
Wait. Hold on. Have we been playing them wrong all this time? Just looking at Battlescribe.
Yeah.
On the troops, it says that the bearer has a 4-up invulnerable save.
But they get a +1 invuln because of the Battle Forged ability.
A Battle Forged ability only affects Aegis of the Emperor.
No,
right?
Aegis of the Emperor is their Battle Forged ability. It's 2-up, 3-up.
No, Aegis of the Emperor is just the 5-up invulnerable save.
Yeah.
And then the Battle Forged abilities, it increases the Aegis of the Emperor save by 1. That's why the Dreadnoughts, the Forge World Dreadnoughts, are only on a 5-up invuln, because they don't have Aegis of the Emperor.
Everyone runs Custodies as 3-up invuln, even in tournaments, so there must be an interaction that you're not reading.
Either that or Battlescribe's got the wrong Storm Shield.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean. I thought it was just a flat 3-up invuln save.
Yeah, no, it's
When did they change it?
It was when the Space Marine things came out.
Did they change it with all the other Storm Shields?
Yeah. The Storm Shield got adjusted along with every other Storm Shield, so they're invuln and +1 to the armor save. So they're a 1-up and then a 0-up in cover. So you can heavily abuse Shield Guard in light and heavy cover, and just make them immune to AP.
No,
See,
has a
4-up. To be fair, I'm looking at the Codex now. Models with this ability have a 5-up invul save. In addition, roll a d6 each time a mortal wound with this ability suffers a mortal wound in the psychic phase.
Yeah.
On a 6-up, that mortal wound is ignored. So his Battlescribe now isn't just going off that and hasn't updated.
No. Their Storm Shield.
That is the Aegis.
Their Storm Shield is like the new Space Marine Storm Shields, which is a 4-up invuln with +1.
Yeah, as opposed to a 3-up.
But how we are getting very confused here. So
Aegis. So are you saying Aegis stacks with the Storm Shield? Is that what we're ultimately saying?
Or is it a weird? Yeah, that's what I want to find out, right? Aegis of the Emperor, blah blah blah.
Because Aegis of the Emperor just used to give a 5-up invul save.
Right.
Oh no! The Emperor's Chosen is this unit's invulnerable save
is improved by 1.
Okay, so that means the Dreads should be on a 4-up as well. Right?
No, they're not. The Dreads do not have the Aegis.
It doesn't matter, right?
The Dreads don't have the keyword. The Dreads are 2-up, 5-up, and 2-up, 4-up for the glass. Because they don't have a normal invuln.
Oh, they just don't get Emperor's Chosen.
No.
Is that?
What is the Emperor's Chosen? An army-wide special
it's
rule?
+1 to invuln.
Yes. Oh, that's why. So just to clarify, there you go. I found the rules now. See, we've been playing for so long, we forget the basic. So their Battle Forged ability is the infantry and bikers get Emperor's Chosen. That's why the Dreadnoughts don't get +1 to their invuln, is because they don't get Emperor's Chosen. It's only infantry and
invul save. The invul save itself can only be improved to a maximum of 3-up.
Yeah, so it still buffs Storm Shields.
Yeah.
Bring them to
but anyway, the original point was Storm Shields are going to probably change for Custodies.
Yeah.
Maybe. Do you think having a 0-up in cover is fine?
Everything's got AP. What, you mean they're going to change it so it doesn't
give the +1
to
its
to
space
change
save?
Emperor's Chosen, right?
Pardon?
They'd have to change the actual Emperor's Chosen rule for that.
No. I'm not talking about invulns. I'm talking about the +1 armor save that the shields give.
That's. I mean, that's how it already works, right? They
Yeah.
get +2 in cover, so why not?
Yeah, fair
It
enough.
hasn't broken the game, right?
Yeah,
You don't
but
see.
No, that's true.
I mean, a lot of the time, people don't even run that many guard, right?
No, they
Most of the
usually
time,
just run
people run
one
such
Scottish
star.
Shield Guard now, and the rest are saggy boys. So yeah,
yeah, because what kind of nerfs that isn't the shooting?
what's that? Sorry.
So what you're saying is basically they get a 0 up
In cover.
in cover, but in order to get that 0 up in cover, they have to take a Sentinel blade, which only gives a shooting range of 12 inches.
Well, yeah, it's just a shitty pistol, but it's decent in melee.
So, but that's what I'm saying. That's the trade-off. That's the balance. So
Yeah.
yes, you can put them in cover, and they've got a 0 up, but at the same time, they're just going to be sitting there,
Yeah,
holding the objective.
Yeah,
They,
that's
they
kind
don't
of
have
the
any offense at that point. They don't have any offensive capability.
yeah. That's kind of the balance for Custodies. Is their shield guard usually sit on the backfield, cost 155 points, and don't do anything of value in the game besides hold that objective, but they hold that fucking objective.
Yeah.
And if someone is stupid enough to charge them, then they'll die. The opponent will die, not the Custodies, because they're 3 attacks each, strength 5, AP minus 3, D3, or something ridiculous like that. So they hurt. They do some pain in melee. It's just they provide no shooting whatsoever. Yeah,
It's 5 minus 3 D3. Yeah, it's like a sourced up power sword.
Yeah, pretty much. The other thing I wouldn't mind seeing is, I don't know. I feel bad for the shield captains, like the non-jet bike captain. Have you ever seen anyone run anything that's not a jet bike captain?
I think they have a purpose. They're cheap, right?
Yeah, I mean the Terminator captain is a cheap engage or a cheap stranglehold, just to quickly drop in and grab something. But the basic guy, that your run of the mill shield captain
just
with a
standard
spear.
shield captain. Yeah, it's not Orax. Doesn't do much.
And
but again, it's just because Custodies are weird because it just how much everything costs, right? You never have just a few points to play.
You also have to
squeezing stuff in is kind of hard.
You got to bear in mind though that the Trajan's going to be a lot less attractive in 9th when they get their Codex, because he only affects core, and all of the units that you currently buff with his reroll wound rolls of 1 are no longer core. None of the dreadnoughts are core.
What's going to be core? It's just usually
it's
based
bikers
on everything
and
else. Bikes and infantry.
In fact,
so
let me check that the bikers are core, because they might not be. I know the infantry are core, and I know the Terminators are core. But I'm not 100% on the bikers. I'll have to check. Let me just quickly load something up. I have a funny feeling the Virtus Praetors might not be core.
Praetors. No. Keywords biker, fly, Virtus Praetor.
Yeah, no, they're not core. So the bikers aren't core. Obviously the Contemptors aren't core.
I mean, at what point did you have both bikers and Treon?
Yeah, it's true. The Venatari are core, though, which is interesting. I didn't expect Venatari to be core. It looks like they've just made all infantry core, and all of the vehicles aren't, and all the bikes aren't. It looks like Terminators are. So Trajan's going to be basically...
Which is odd, because all other bikes are core, so all the Space Marine bikes.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Even the ATVs are core.
Really?
I'm pretty sure they are, aren't they? They are bikers.
Yeah.
You might be wrong. They might not be core, but they are bikers.
No, I don't think ATVs are. I could be wrong, but I genuinely don't.
I think you might be right. I don't think they're about
I don't even think.
Yeah, no, they've not got the core keyword. ATVs aren't core.
No, I don't even
There you
think
go.
Outriders do.
No. Oh, Outriders might be. I'm
I
not
think.
sure. Anyway, this is Custodies, not Filthy Marines.
Anyway, yeah, this is Custodies, not Filthy Marines. Yeah.
So yeah, Trajan's going to be a slightly less effective because I know a lot of tournament players are currently running him to babysit dreadnoughts at the moment.
He's kind of weak already. He's very expensive for what he does, and yet he's mainly brought for the reroll wounds. And even that's like kind of okay. I swear people mainly bring him for the moment shackle, dude.
Yeah, for the free stoop or the free like double from Golden Light if he's already on the battlefield, that kind of stuff. And the other thing, oh Christ, I don't know how we forgot. Fucking his axe sucks dick.
Again, that D3 damage.
Yeah. But his axe is what, ×2 - 3 D3? And how many attacks does he get?
Oh, I'll tell you right now.
If it's 5, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be real mad.
He has
it's 5, isn't it?
Does he swing that axe at -1?
No.
Mr. Trajan Valoris has 5 attacks.
Yeah, he's only got 5 attacks.
Strength 10, AP -3,
D3.
D3.
So that's five 1 damage attacks, yeah?
It is bad for 190 points.
Yeah, 190 point character.
And if you compare it to...
I thought it was damage D3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But you just said damage 1.
Yeah, because you're going to roll 1s.
Oh, dude, that's unfair.
Oh, come on. Dan, how many times has Trajan dealt serious like damage in melee?
I don't know. Like, I swear, Trajan never did any melee damage
for
me.
The guy never seems to get into melee either. He's such a weird character because he's got this axe that should be beastly but isn't. His gun is just weird. He's 190 points. He's basically like a mini Gulliman. But for Custodies.
But worse.
Yeah, but worse in every way. It doesn't give you CP, but he kind of does, but you have to spend it in the first place. I don't know. He's just really weird. He's great. I run him in every list for now while he affects non-core units for the reroll 1s to wound on Telamon and stuff. But when the 9th Codex hits and we lose core, I don't know. And if they don't change the damage on his axe, I'm going to drop him.
To be honest, I'm tempted to drop him now anyway and get a second bike captain.
Yeah.
Because bike captains, to be honest, I know this is where me and Nathan sort of differ when it comes to Custodies. I value bikes and speed a lot more in Custodies, while Nathan prefers more heavy, robust stuff like Terminators and the tanks,
Dreadnoughts,
and stuff.
Well, just going quickly, very, very, very quickly, just referring back to the axe. So the only thing that sprang to mind when you're saying an axe that does or should perform better than it should, and again, yes, I'm biased, but the only thing that sprang to my mind was the axe Mortalis, which is Dante's axe, and that is +3 strength, AP -3, 2 damage.
Yeah, no, you can't. It would be, but you can't. They're not the same type of axe, right? You have to remember that Custodies have very different equipment than Space Marines, even though they kind of look similar. They have these weird fucking axe guns.
Yeah. So his axe is also a heavy bottom.
They're very different in terms of.
But that's what I'm saying. From an axe stat point of view, he doesn't have the -1 that normal axes have to swing. Neither does Dante. Granted, I understand Dante's is more of a hatchet axe, where his is a 2-hand
axe.
Yeah, it's a pole axe. So, but that's what I'm saying in comparison. So, what was his axe again, stat wise?
5 attacks.
5 attacks at ×2 strength, -3 AP,
D3.
D3 damage.
How many attacks does Dante get?
So, attacks wise, as standard, Dante gets 6.
Yeah, and he gets how many more from charging?
Shenanigans.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. that's what I'm saying with the Blood Angel shenanigans. So he's 6 attack standard, +1 on the charge, +1 for
Black Rage.
if he's in the Assault Doctrine. Yeah, no, he doesn't have Black Rage because he's not Death Company, but he has
He still gets
+1 in
Black
the
Rage.
Assault Doctrine, which you can give him all of the time if there's a priest about, and then he has the Red Thirst, which is +1 to the wound roll. On top of that, so
and how many points is he?
He is 165.
Okay, so he's not quite as tough as Trajan, but he gets 8 attacks.
Yeah, you can't compare him.
Basic, basic 6, 7, 8. Then he has, I mean, his weapon skill. It's what? So Axe Mortalis strength +3, so it's strength 7.
Yeah. But you got +1 to wound anyway.
And you've got +1 to wound on top of that.
Which I'll take over strength 10.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. So what basically you want out of that thing is you keep the 2 times strength. You maybe up his attacks to 7.
No. God, 7 attacks on a Custodian is a bit much because they also get the Misericordia.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's weird, right? Because I think it's just the D3 damage is a relic of early. It's just a relic of early 8th edition, right? Where
So
D3 damage was actually
flat 2 or
pretty
flat
good.
3.
I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they go to just flat 3. Like I'd like them to go to flat 3. I think it's fair.
But if they go to flat 3, would you then say it's
army
fair
wide?
to probably give them -1 to hit?
I wouldn't give Custodies -1 to hit lore-wise. But Dan, do you mean flat 3 army-wide or just flat 3 for Trajan?
Well, it depends, right? Because his axe is just a better Castellan axe, right?
Yeah.
Normal Castellan axe is +3 strength.
Yeah, strength 8,
-2 AP.
-2, yeah.
Yeah. So his is double strength, more AP. It's just a flat 3 damage. I can see maybe normal axes going up to 2. I would like to see them go up to a minimum of flat 2 damage, and Trajan's could be a 3 damage.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't think it would be a big deal to give Custodies flat 3 damage weapons for the axes, at least.
Yeah, I think there needs to be an incentive. I think there needs to be more of a differentiation between the spears and the axes, because Jay, right now, spears are strength 6, axes are strength 8. The spears have AP 3, whereas the axes are only AP -2. So you got the higher strength axe versus the higher AP spear, and they're both D3. But the spears have a strat that gives them +1 to wound, and the axe has a strat that gives them +1 to AP. So the axes become spears, and the spears become axes, except the axes cost 5 more points.
Which is bollocks. So what you want to do is you want to make the spears more like the old Grey Knight spears, where it's like +1 or +2 to hit or fight, or you give them the fights first type thing. Because traditionally, if we're thinking about this an axe, it doesn't matter if it's a Custodian Guard or a Primarch or whatever, an axe compared to a spear is going to be more unwieldy, but it is going to cause more damage. A spear is more likely for you to hit first, but isn't necessarily going to do the susceptible damage that an axe would do. Now, what I'm curious is, the Aurelian Terminators, are they -1 to hit with a power fist?
No.
You mean Aquilon?
Aquilon, no, they get no -1. So Custodies just don't get -1 to hit.
Won't get any amount of -1 to hit, right? Well, in that case, and then you just need to change out the options, which basically makes the axe either more points cost but hits harder. And if we're going to say it hits at the same rate of speed, or they can wield them the same way they could a spear.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, right? Spears are pointy; they stab better, more AP. Axes will split you in half if it gets past the armor, right? It makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But so then you need, like Nathan says, you need to differentiate between the two.
Yeah, that's why I said it. I'd like them to go to flat 3 damage.
as opposed to what? Something with a higher AP and just 2 damage?
Yeah.
Well, then you're going to spam spears. Because a higher AP...
No. Spears are lower strength, high AP.
Yeah.
Axes should be... It's fine to have them this medium AP, higher strength.
But then you want the higher damage as well.
Yeah.
So the axes are for killing vehicles, and the spears are for killing elites. James is probably very confused because he plays balanced armies with.
It's not that I get the point. It's just like you say, you're asking for. See, to me, your power fists should be your tank killers. Your axes should be your elite killers.
Here's the problem. So the power fists are Forge World only.
Right.
So you've got to keep in mind that the fists are not on a unit that is readily accessible.
Well, then I think you equal out the damage. You equal out the damage between spears and axes. You make axes a higher damage. You equal out the damages, but you make the strength of an axe higher, and you make the AP of the spear higher.
That's what it is now.
Yeah, that's what it is now. But it's the flat damage that needs to change.
But you said there was also a strat that changed them around where spears became axes and axes became spears.
I see what you mean. I can see, to be honest, I can see those stratagems going away.
So you get rid of those stratagems and you make the spears more speary.
Yeah.
And you make the axes more axy. So you give the spears even more AP, so they're just obliterating anything. Like they basically doesn't matter what they stab, it's going through. And then you make the axes, no matter, all right, you might get a save against them, but if you fail that save, the damage is gonna fucking triple
you. Yeah.
Better do. It's a goddamn Castellax.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big boy pole axe.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think the additional damage on the axe and keeping the rest as is, but maybe removing the strats is probably a sensible idea. Because
against archaic stuff. That's when Custodies didn't have as many options, right? They didn't have the Forge World stuff. Maybe keep them. When half your army comes from Forge World, it's really hard to ignore it.
Exactly, yeah. Which is the kind of thing. But do we not think with a new Codex we might get some new models?
No.
We already know what's coming, right? From the leaks.
Oh, we're getting one guy.
Which is gonna
be one guy, right?
He's gonna be a reroll wound rolls of 1.
Yeah, it's gonna replace. He's gonna replace Treon.
Yeah, it's basically a Space Marine lieutenant, but Custodies version. That's all they're getting. We know they're not getting much.
That's bollocks. That's absolute bollocks.
It's actually pretty big.
I'm fine.
Well, it is, but honestly, right. So here we go again. Here's me wishlisting, but not necessarily from a rules point of view. You know how Forge World are actually moving away from, shall we say, 40k in general, and even 30k. They really are going to the specialist games. We know this because we're getting plastic.
Horus Heresy.
Horus Heresy Land Raiders, if the rumors that be believed is actually a multi-purpose kit. So it's a multi-purpose 30k plastic kit for 2 tanks working on a Land Raider chassis.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that, right? There's a new 30k version coming out. That's why.
Well, yeah, but if you're bringing out a new 30k version, right, are you really only going to release one kit that supports it? Hear me out. This is wish list to a certain extent. It is theory. But Forge World are moving away from 30k. GW wants to incorporate 30k into 40k. Yeah? Into plastics.
Oh, they want to incorporate 30k into plastic, yes. They don't want to incorporate 30k into 40k, though.
No. Sorry, no, but yeah, incorporate it into plastics, yeah?
That's only so they can produce more, right? That's the main reason for it. Is I don't think it's necessarily about them sort
Doesn't
of
matter. The
similar.
point is the point is they're heading in that direction. So if they're gonna do that, then one of the main armies where they've already got their toe in plastics and toe in Forge World is Custodes.
I don't think Custodies are popular enough to do something like that. To be honest, I don't.
Yeah,
You
they're not very popular
their
at all.
stuff. Yeah, are you
It's just
suggesting they're
if
going
you're
to put
gonna
their
do,
stuff in plastic and bring it to
yeah,
the Codex?
I really do, because at the minute
I really don't.
they've already in an official GW magazine put Primaris Marines in 30k, but you don't have the rules for them. Because law-wise, Primaris were around at 30k.
Wait, what?
Just
No, they weren't.
well, yeah, they were. I am 150% certain on this. The law on Primaris, there were grey shields before they were given the livery, before Gulliman gave them over to the specific chapter, that remember the Horus Heresy, that remember fighting alongside the Primarchs.
Of GW
I'm
retconned
sure,
a shitload of stuff that I'm not aware of.
yeah,
That doesn't.
Okay.
yeah.
That doesn't make
So
sense.
hear me out. What do you mean it doesn't make sense?
Because
Cole was working on the Primaris project when Gulliman was still alive.
But I
Yeah.
thought Cole asked him to make them after he was resurrected.
No.
He had them in...
No. Cole's had the Primaris in stasis for 10,000 years. He just hadn't released them because it was so secret, and it was Gulliman who commissioned the Primaris.
Yeah.
So the Primaris, from a law point of view, as it stands right now, and there's been, I'm sure it was a White Dwarf article where they had Primaris Marines, 30k liveries in the 30k battle report, right? So
no, they can't be part of the Horus Heresy. The Horus Heresy was they might have been commissioned shortly after the start of the Horus Heresy, but they would have not been around during the Horus Heresy. It took Cole fucking thousands of years to really make them. Not
okay, fair enough.
They weren't ready.
Forgive me, because I'm probably incorrect. When I say the Horus Heresy, I'm including the Scouring.
Sure. So then maybe they might be ready at
the end of the Heresy. So at the end of the Heresy, in the Scouring, yeah.
Let's be blunt. It doesn't matter about the law. If GW want to push plastic into Horus Heresy, they're going to write whatever they need to do it.
But this is my point. They've already done that. They've already set the precedent. So they've already got Primaris in the Horus Heresy game, law-wise, because at the end of the Heresy, during the Scouring,
I really doubt there's actual Primaris in the game. I fucking doubt there's Primaris in the game.
Okay, I'm calling it now, mate. I'm calling it now. The next iteration of 30k will allow you to include Primaris. And if I'm right about that,
in October,
genuinely hand on heart think I am, then
if you are, I'll buy you a beer.
That's fine, mate. That's fine. No, I get that. But I'm calling it now. Primaris are going to feature in 30k, the option 2. And I think they'll do it as the Scouring. So it'll be 30k, but it won't be 30k in the midst of the Horus Heresy. You'll have 30k in the midst of the Horus Heresy and be able to play 30k at the end of the Horus Heresy during the Scouring. And I think on that basis, the Custodies will become, I think, in time, I'm not saying this edition, it might be the next Codex edition or somewhere in between the next Codex edition and the one after, you will start to see more Custodies in
plastic.
And I think you'll get more options.
Custodies, maybe. I'm not holding I'm not hoping for that. I mean, not that. I'm not holding out for it, shall we say.
You're not holding out for it, fair enough.
I don't think they're popular enough for them to...
No, but I really doubt that they will have Primaris in 30k. That I really doubt.
The popularity is probably, like we've already said at the beginning, is probably more based off the fact that there's that many Forge World units and the Forge World option. You've already said it's a cheap army to get into. The thing that holds back from competitive play
Yeah, it's cheap to get into. Then you spend all your money
the
on
volume of Forge World. Well, exactly. But
yeah, they want
Forge
your
World.
money.
Nah, GW want GW the plastics to be thing. Forge World, they've already said they want Forge World to deal with the specialist games, and they've proved that they don't want 30k to be a specialist game anymore. They want it to be mainstream.
Yeah, they want to bring 30k into the same view as 40k and Sigmar because it's a financial business decision.
When you say they want Forge World to focus on the specialist game. Do you mean
we're talking Blood Bowl, Necromunda? We're talking Blood Bowl, Necromunda. The Aeronautica. What's the other one? Not Vermintide. The Thingy Quest version.
Oh right, I know which one you mean. Yeah.
Warhammer Quest. So let's just say Warhammer Quest in general, whether that's the 40k or the 30k version. And if you think about it, Forge World, if they control Blood Bowl, Necromunda, Aeronautical Imperialis, and that is, I mean, those 4 game systems alone, which are quite popular as standalone game systems, is enough for Forge World to be dealing with. And then, like I say, we already know that they want to make 30k more of a mainstream, like Age of Sigmar and 40k. And they do that by moving away from resin and into plastic.
Maybe. I mean, it would be nice. Would be nice. I wouldn't say. I would say. Anyway, back to.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. We really took a U-turn there, and I do apologise. But I'm calling it now. That's what I believe, that you will see original legions having access to Primaris.
Nah.
Anyway, Primaris being the same size as Custodes is what tilts me. That just seems a bit weird.
I want my Chads to be Chadier,
I want my
please.
Chad Stodies to be actual big, thick man. And yeah, if you put the models side by side, they are the same size, which just seems bizarre to me. But there's nothing they can do about that now unless they redesign every single kit again and force you to buy new models, which who knows, they might do in 10 years' time. But Custodies aren't a popular enough faction for them to really invest in much R&D for new models. We're getting a new lieutenant, which will probably just be reroll 1s to wound for core, which probably negates the purpose of Trajan existing in an army if you can get that from a lieutenant instead and just have a shield captain and a lieutenant in one army. I suspect they'll probably have the same command structure as the other armies. So you can only have one captain in a detachment. And if you have Trajan, he'll count as a captain, so you can't take another one.
Ooh, that'll be backbreaking if that's the case. No double bike captains.
I think that's how I think that's what's going to happen. I think they're going to force you to take that lieutenant.
That's weird though, because we only have really like one choice for headquarters. We got captain, captain, and captain.
Yep. And Trajan, who is the captain.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's all captains.
Yeah, I still think they're going to force you to either take a captain and a lieutenant in a battalion, or just run a patrol and a vanguard or whatever to get your 2 captains to get your bike captain.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon that's... I mean, think about it. They're bringing out a new lieutenant model. Every other army has had rules saying you can only bring one of your main HQs per detachment. I think it's going to happen. I don't like it.
All right.
But I think it's probably likely.
So here's another curveball or spanner in the works, and I do apologise, but I don't. Valdo.
Oh, I would love a Valdo model, but I don't think he's coming anytime soon.
The story's still progressing on that one.
Yeah, I think when the story is in the right place, I think we will 100% get a Valdor Supreme Commander. And I fully expect him to be
really?
Not
Supreme Command over HQ.
Yeah, Supreme. He's 100% going to be Supreme Command. He's the daddy. He's the gold daddy. He's every army is gonna get a supreme command, aren't they? That's just how they're doing things. Gulliman, Mortarion, they've got Gazgul. Like, it's pretty evident that no matter how big his model is, he's going to be the supreme command.
I thought Gaskell was just headquarters.
No, he's supreme command.
Is he?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That's how much I know about Orc.
Necrons
Have the Silent King.
Silent King, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll take it. I'd love to see Constantine.
Yeah.
walk around.
I think they'll make him more similar to Gulliman, where he's a force multiplier as opposed to a beat stick by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of done that with most of.
Yeah, well, except Mortarion.
Yeah, he's a big.
He's somebody put a breeze block on the table and went, "That is my model. Remove it."
Yeah,
Aaron so much.
Does Gazgul not do that though? Is Gazgul a force multiplier?
Not kind
He's
of.
somewhere in between.
He's half and half, so he can be targeted, so he can be shot off the table very, very easily, but only over 3 turns. He's a beast, fucking beast boy in melee. When he gets damage, he gets more attacks. But all he does in terms of force multiplier is I think he gives nearby units extra attack in melee, or reroll hit rolls in melee, something like that.
Fair enough.
Something to that effect. Not layers upon layers like Gulliman. I think he just has one buff where everything in with so many inches gets a buff in melee. But the other purpose of him is to call the Mega War.
That's what you should expect from bloody Orcs, isn't it?
Yeah. It's what you should expect from Supreme Commanders, though, is that force multiplier type thing.
Back to Custodies and sorry.
Yeah.
we could go on in tangent. This is meant to be about Wishlist.
Yeah. Well, wish listing for your boy Constantine. How would you build him?
That's fine. It's kind of tough though, because it's an odd one, right? Because he is what Trajan is, right? He's a Captain General. So it'd be weird because he is lore-wise, he is like almost Primarch level.
Yes, 100%.
How much of a Chad he is.
We don't know everything about Constantine Valdor. We just know that his origins are a bit sketchy because the Emperor raised an entire army and went on a warpath across an entire planet just to obtain him. So there's something about where he's from, and he wiped his memory as well, didn't he? So he doesn't know where he came from. Just that he is the Emperor's favorite, not son, but son,
his
or whatever.
Second favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Did he take him as a boy? Did he?
I don't know.
But again, he was a very special little boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Lore-wise, it's cool. I would love to see. I would absolutely love to see Valdor. I don't know, like, because again, he's big, but I don't think he's quite as big as a Primarch, right? So I know he's meant to, like, lore-wise, he can kind of hold his own against, but I don't think he could hold his own against like the proper, like, really fighty Primarch.
Probably not,
right?
No.
So I don't think he could hold his own necessarily against someone like, like Lionel Johnson.
Yeah, I think he'd beat Gulliman's ass down hard.
He might go toe to toe. Thing is, like, even Gilliman, he might not be the fightiest, but he's still a bit of a fucking Chad.
Yeah.
So
I expect his stat line to be similar to Gulliman's, with a 3-up invulns, toughness 6, 9 wounds, so he can't be targeted, and that sort of force multiplier sort of reroll all hit rolls within 6, or reroll all wound rolls of 1.
Within 6 inches.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
50% golden and shiny.
Yeah, gives you CP if he's your supreme commander, that kind of thing. But in terms of fightiness, I'd expect him to, again, have basically the same profile as Gulliman with his sword. So, does mortal wounds on 6s.
Yeah. Here's a question. On the topic of Wishlist, is there a unit that you would like to see that the Custodies don't have? Like something new. Is there something that you'd like
I would like
in the army?
this is I'm alone here. Well, I'm not alone. I've visited the Custodies Discord and I know they all want it. I would like sisters to become troops, and I would like those
Yeah.
troop sisters to be able to be mixed into Custodies troop units.
Huh?
I know what you mean. Basically, Nathan wants
I want
Custodies to be
Death
involved,
Watch
immune
Custodies.
to psychic.
I want Death Watch Custodies. I want Custodies and sisters in a single unit, so I can
I think
take
that would be
That makes sense.
so I can
Yeah,
take
that
a
would be
bunch of shield
broken.
boys and a bunch of bolter sisters and stick them on an
Ooh.
objective and watch and laugh as the psychers can't.
Yeah, no, the problem with that is all of a sudden, like, basically your entire army is
Yeah.
psychers. I am opposed to that. As funny as it would be,
I'd just get rid of
Yeah.
the ability on the sisters that makes him untargetable. Make it so that it's -1 to psychic tests. Something like that.
sure. At that point, it's kind of minor. Though.
Yeah.
Like, it's meh. It's the fact that they can't be targeted. That's what makes them interesting.
But sisters should
Well,
be
sisters
troops. They
can't be
should not
targeted.
be in the elite slot. It is
How-
dumb as hell.
No.
How about right. Here's what I would be very interested, and I think it kind of makes sense lore-wise as well, because after all, sisters are psychers. How about an actual psyker unit?
I think it's a weakness in the army that is fine to exist. I think
That's fine.
Custodies
It's
should
not
be
about
weak against it.
yeah. I think that's fine. I'm talking more of a psyker in the sense of like maybe like a buff psyker, right?
You can't. But they're nulls.
Still psyker.
They're not psychers.
The Sisters of
They're
Silence
nulls.
are nulls, so they can't do anything psychic, and they are like no one can
But
do psychic things
They
around
don't.
them.
They do.
Yeah,
I'm
because
pretty
law-wise,
sure.
they don't have a presence in the warp.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I read something about Nulls still having some kind of powers.
They
Nah,
can't
dude.
cast
Their
warp
power
spells.
is that nobody can.
The power is
that nobody can.
nobody has
No
powers.
psychic can affect them.
Yeah.
How about an actual Custodes psyker? Like an actual giant Chad psyker.
That'd be cool.
I want him to
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just like make psychic fists and punch people.
I don't know what
think
you
that'd be-
what
that
would you
kind of
make
be
a psychic
cool.
Custodes do though? You can't make Custodes any more durable than, well, you could, but it would be
Make 'em
dumb as
even
shit.
bigger?
Make
I know.
what? Make
They're
a
about like good and light, right? Like their psychic power should be sort of more aligned to the Emperor, right? Potentially, I don't know.
such as what would you do? What psychic spell would you cast as a
Psychic
Custodes?
flash grenades. Just blind the opponent dude.
With your
Just
golden,
blind the opponent.
right?
It's like -1 to hit.
So you want what's it called? Concussion grenade strat, but as a psychic ability.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
can't overwatch and they're -1 to hit.
Yeah, it could be interesting, right? Some kind of maybe I'm thinking maybe moving some of the power of the stratagems into a psychic.
That's not a bad idea actually.
So stuff like what's some of the most awesome stratagems that
The
Custodies
can't
have?
be re-rolled against.
Yeah, stuff like can be re-rolled against Tanglefoot grenade, right?
Yeah.
There's no reason that can't be fucking light binding. Call it whatever the fuck you want, right? But it could be an interesting
Yeah.
The one
power. I think it would just be interesting, right? Rather than being so dependent on stratagems that may or may not disappear. I don't know, some Chad Psyker.
The one thing that is just sort of suddenly I've been reminded of is the one unit that doesn't exist in the Custodies Codex or Sisters is the Sisters of Silence Acquisitor, which is the Sisters of Silence transport. So at the moment, you just have to use a Space Marine kit for the Rhino for the Sisters, for their Normaiden Rhino, but they do actually have their own transport. And it's called a Karen Pattern Acquisitor. It's on Forge World. You can buy it, and it's in 30k.
Yeah, it's a big dome thing, isn't it?
And it's like a 3-sided domey headed.
Yeah, it's a weird
floaty thing.
looking.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that. But the whole purpose of
What do you
it is
mean?
that it captures and smooths psychers around. Like it acquires psychers, hence why it's called an acquisitor.
He's just bringing 40k and he's just going around like taking your
Taking the
opponent's
opponent's psychers off the battlefield.
So it basically it takes your psychers off the board and nulls them.
Maybe. I don't know. It'd be
But,
weird.
It
That
comes
would be
in,
hilarious.
Comes in from deep strike. You can charge it. It doesn't attack.
It doesn't
It doesn't
attack.
attack anything.
Oh my god, this
But
is amazing.
if you leave your psyker out in the open,
Yes.
where there's nothing to protect it, then it can
It's
just
like-
like swallow it and take it off the board.
It's a
the
Kirby. It's
fucking-
literally Kirby in 40k.
Kidnapping unit.
It's like,
You know
no,
what, man? I'd give you that.
that'd be hilarious.
Turning it to the Psyker Snatcher, dude.
But make it
All right,
like,
how many points? Come
I
on,
don't
how
know,
many
you'd make
points?
it not very tough. It would be like this little vehicle that you'd like try and hide, and you're desperately trying to drive up
You're
to
like-
this fucking librarian.
You know what? You know
Oh,
when,
man. And
if
that,
the Emperor had
you know what
the
it is?
text
And that
device,
could be a secondary. That could be a secondary objective.
Yeah.
eat
Snatch,
Psychers.
snatch the psyker.
Yeah. Oh god, that would be such a fucking hilarious thing to implement into the game. Just fucking bag
brilliant.
snatches psychers off the board.
Yeah, you know,
Call it the Emperor's next meal.
Yeah. But you'd have to make it so that
snack box.
you'd have to make it, yeah, like a little cheese string. You want a cheese slice? You'd have to make it so that the opponent rolls a dice every turn, and on like a 5 up they get out, and then a 4 up they get out, and then a 3 up they get out, or whatever. So their psyker isn't just fucking gone as soon as this thing.
That's it. Like it's gone. It's been swallowed up by this thing, and it's shot up straight up to the black ship.
Yeah. I mean, if it were pointed correctly and it were,
Yeah.
suitably interactable, like people could kill it before it got to their
Mm-hmm.
psychers. And if someone's stupid enough to let this fucking
Leave a
floaty
psyker,
sausage
yeah.
dildo thing wander up to one of their psychers and just like, OJ
Not
Simpson
even a
him.
psyker, mate. Just make it. No. I get what you're saying, right? But not even a psyker unit. Just say a character unit. How cool would that
Oh
be?
my god, that would be even worse. That would be
Yeah, but
disgusting. Could you imagine?
Point it accordingly. So make it expensive enough, and like you say, make it a proper glass hammer. So you know what I mean. If you don't play it
Yeah,
right,
but
you
then you-
literally have to be super.
Yeah,
Huge.
but it's kind of pointless, right? Because you got this thing, it goes up, it takes the headquarters, then it gets shot the next turn. It doesn't do anything.
And then the
Just
headquarters
waste-
dies inside it, of course.
Yeah,
Sure,
exactly.
If the headquarters disappears forever,
Yeah.
then maybe.
Yeah,
They're never
so
going to
the-
add anything like that.
So
but it'll be
basically,
fun.
you treat it like a flyer. It flies off the board, but it has to come back in.
Fuck it. It's just
If it-
just make
if you
it a
if you
box.
manage
It's just a
if
magic
you
box.
manage to lock it up in close combat, then you get your character back
Yeah.
within, I don't know, 6 inch. Your character comes back within 6 inches of the model.
It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, but by God, if I don't want it. Can you imagine?
No, I want.
It'd be awesome.
I'm sorry,
I'm
Nathan,
sorry.
but I would rather have a psyker with biceps the size of you, and then as he casts spells, his muscles only grow and he gets only sweatier. He's naked.
Yeah, he's oiled
He's
up.
naked.
Oh,
only
that could
wearing
be one
a
of his psychic
loincloth.
spells. He oils up the other Custodies
Yes,
so that they get extra
you
extra
need-
movement.
They are.
Yes, they
are.
move fast.
You
They can't be
you-
surrounded.
you
but
models-
only-
They don't
they-
take
they
a penalty to
couldn't-
movement. They
Your
just slide
opponent
through
can't-
trees.
can't catch them, dude. They just slip away. They can disengage
hits
without
you.
penalty.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, oiled. Sorry, I'm just saying, kitten, oiled up the fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to serious, super serious things. Oiled up Custodies and
Serious
psycho
things.
eating vehicles. I'm not really sure what else, to be
Yeah.
honest. There's not that many units in the Codex. We've already gone
Honestly,
through a
I
couple
think
of ones.
overall, we're genuinely saying G-dubs, kind of leave them alone, leave 90% of it alone.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the few things that you actually managed to get right and has stayed right all of this time.
Yeah. If we're talking wish list, make some of the Forge World stuff plastic.
Yeah.
Let me buy
I genuinely think it's going to come.
Let me buy a Telemon
Honestly.
in plastic or a Killis in plastic, and I'll be a happy man.
Yeah, but then it would have to be cheaper.
Yeah, that's true. Can't have that.
No, you can though. Like I say, they're stuck with 30k Space Marines in plastic.
To be honest, they probably get a better profit.
Everybody said
Yeah.
those two box sets would come, and then that would be it.
Yeah.
And they're stuck with the 30k plastics.
I
genuinely think
I can see them going away from resin kits in general because there's a lot of complaints about quality. A lot of their big models have pretty serious issues with warping. And like I see people spending hundreds, if not thousands of pounds on resin, and it arrives in really poor condition. And if it were any other company offering any other kind of product, they would get smashed to bits for it. Like hard. But for some reason, Forge World gets a free pass with the quality of some of their resin kits, which I don't think is reasonable.
It's just 6 guys.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think over the course of the next few years, I can see Forge World going. I think Forge World models in the mainstream, whatever GW thinks they can sell on bulk in plastic and it's worth their while, they will move to plastic. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Forge World moving to 3D printing. And instead of buying resin from Forge World, you buy 3D.
Well, I mean, 3D is resin.
The resin is 3D printing.
Well, no, but you get what I mean.
Yeah, they currently make their resin through casting, whereas all other 3D printers make their resin via those
3D printers.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Well, that's where I say where they're going. Honestly, I genuinely see Forge World going to, like I said, the kits that can make money on GW, genuinely think they can make money on, will go from resin to plastic. And I think where now we've currently got resin, you will find either GW 3D printing on demand and send them out to you, or selling you the files for a one print only. Do you know what I mean?
Tough to
and
implement,
then if you 3D, well, would it?
They're never gonna do that.
No, they'll never offer 3D files ever. This is a draconian company that hates free advertising.
This is true. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, once the second you get a 3D file, right, people will
distribute
be able to
and hack it if it's got some kind of DRM so that they can distribute it.
Yeah, that they're never gonna do that. That's
in
fairness.
There is no way you can make a file like delete itself effectively.
No.
So you get one opportunity and one opportunity only.
Impossible.
People crack it one way or another. You'd have to do some really fucking bizarre shit to do that. Like you need to make your own software to you basically you have to end up with a 2-key authentication for it.
Yeah.
Where
you distribute the software and the file, and they're not gonna do that.
Right.
That's a lot of fucking work
for that. Well, I still think that's where they might end up then. So, like I said, they move to 3D printing, and they will set the Forge World will be exclusively 3D printed models, and Games Workshop models will be plastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what Games Workshop really has going for them when it comes to models. Honestly, is plastic kits, right? No one else does plastic kits.
People have tried
the way they do
on the same level as Games Workshop, right? And I think
they have
their strength.
And let's face it, they have the ability to go out tomorrow and buy top of the range 3D printers and print on demand.
They probably already have.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that 20-minute long tangent that took us places.
Yeah, sorry. Oops. You know what you forgot as well? Hit that like and subscribe.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So, yeah. Well, we're going to end the video there anyway because I think we've covered the most important things and some of the least important things. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel because it helps us immensely. And liking the video is secondary to that. If you want to be reminded to when we do post videos, hit the little weird little bell. And we'll see you on next Thursday at 7 p.m. for our Space Marine, we don't know which chapter, versus Imperial Guard, we don't know which regiment. Depends on what James fancies playing. It'll be James and Dan playing, and I'll be on the cast. For anyone that watched the last battle report video and noticed the audio quality issues, we will hopefully resolve those by next week. We've got a different mic that we're going to try out, and I've also adjusted some of the video settings, so the video quality should be slightly more improved. Give it some tests. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening to this podcast. I think this one was a bit more all over the place than the previous ones, but Custodies are a small army. There's not a huge amount to them. They're reasonably balanced.
And they're in a good spot, yeah.
Yeah, so there's not much to change, and me and Dan are very happy with where they are. Please don't fuck them up, GW. Please don't do that.
Please give me oiled up casters.
Yeah,
please,
yeah, exactly.
oiled up psychers. Make it happen, please.
Yeah, so thank you very much for everybody for coming in and tuning in. You will be able to listen to this either on YouTube, and it's also available on Spotify as well. I'll upload it after this. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this, and don't forget to leave some comments in the section below if you did or did not. All interaction is good interaction. We'll see you next Thursday.